Welcome to the Chamber Neighbors Podcast, a show highlighting Chapin's community and commerce. Now here's your hosts, Greater Chapin Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Paul Sadler, and Chapin Neighbors Magazine's Daniel Rendelman.
This is Daniel with the Chapin Neighbors Magazine.
And I'm Paul Sadler with the Greater Chapin Chamber of Commerce.
And Paul, who are we talking to today?
Daniel. We have a treat.
We've got
today.
a treat? Who is this?
We've got a treat. It's Gabriel Penfield.
Gabriel Penfield is here, and hello, Gabriel. Tell us a little bit about yourself for all of our listeners to get to know you.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm probably considered a quasi-entrepreneur. I got my start in wealth management 22 years ago. That evolved into hosting an internship for the University of South Carolina. A lot of great things came as a result of the students that came in. The coffee shop, the parking lot striping business, the furniture store, and we have a lot more things that are coming up, both in the town of Irmo and specifically in the town of Chapin.
Oh,
okay.
That sounds interesting.
So our listeners,
you do a lot.
Yeah, our listeners need to hang on because a lot of great info coming about and going to hear about that. So Gabe, kind of asking what you specialize in is tricky, but would you say you specialize in opportunities?
Connecting people, I think, is what I've evolved into, solving problems. Now there are other people who do better than me, but I try to connect the dots.
It is, and that's what we do here at the Chamber as well. We connect people. It's all about relationships, right? So it's all about those relationships that you have with people, making those connections, and doing business and doing life together, right?
Yeah, we named our wealth management firm Relational Wealth Management for that reason, not because we're great at relationships. It's just so that we can't forget to put them at the forefront of our focus.
I love that. I love that concept. It's all about the people. It's all about relations. It doesn't matter what you do, right? It doesn't matter if you stripe parking lots, if you do a magazine, if you run a chamber. It's all about relationships. But we're not here to talk about relationships.
Well, in thinking about relationships, though, when I think of relational wealth management, some folks may recognize some of the names of the folks that work there with you as well, Gabe?
Yeah, we have a phenomenal team. Bo Wolf, Shane Leonard, Robert Biedenbaugh, Michael Copeland, certainly Alexia Montali is the glue that keeps us all together. And without a team, leadership makes you look better than you really are. And but it's you have a lot of people pulling together to a common goal, and it's a lot of fun.
And so you also have a business called the Parking Lot Kings. Tell us a little bit about that.
What are you doing in the parking lot to be the king of the parking lot?
And is there a queen?
Is it like king of the hill?
I don't know.
Is there a fight? Is it more like chess?
Yeah, all this stuff rolled out of the internship. The Parking Lot King actually was another company called Parking Lot Medic. We started it with somebody who volunteered or prospected us to stripe the lines in the plaza, and the opportunity presented to launch something there, and it evolved into another entity, Parking Lot King, but that has evolved into hiring and developing talent, which is connected to other businesses where I've met other people who connected me to talent to actually go out and do the work itself.
Connections and relationships is kind of what I'm pulling from this. So specifically with the Parking Lot Kings, you're striping parking lots, right? You're painting those lines. And shameless plug for you real quick.
Hey, this is cool.
This is cool. Gabe actually did our parking lot here at the Chapin Chamber. You couldn't see the lines. You didn't know where to park. You really couldn't see.
I wondered why things were crazy.
Things were crazy. People were parking sideways.
It was madness.
It was a madhouse here. But we contacted Gabriel, and Gabriel came out. Him and his crew striped the parking lot, and they pressure washed the parking lot.
Okay, so that includes that as part of being the king of the parking lot, which is awesome. You mentioned a coffee shop. There's also some news about this coffee shop. Tell us about the coffee shop.
Yeah, again, the coffee shop was launched from an intern who showed up with a Starbucks machine, and I said, well, instead of me lecturing about how to do business, which is kind of what the entrepreneur aspect of the internship was all about, it evolved to let's go down to City Hall and get ourselves a permit, and I let a friend from church name give it its name, and I never really seen myself as a coffee person. I'm more of an entrepreneur, and the coffee shop really a community center that has a coffee shop in the front because we had a wedding in there. Beacon Church was housed in the coffee shop for a little while. Resurrection Church launched out of there. We've had a number of small
and this was tribal coffee in the Irmo area.
Yeah, and I'd really never expected that the coffee shop would go as far as it has gone because it was just initially just a small project, but made a relationship with Bart's Crazy Good Coffee here in Chapin. And
right down the road.
Now you have to say it right. It's Bart's Crazy Good Coffee, right?
And so August 5th, they'll be rebranding the shop, and had an opportunity to tour his facility, and it's top notch. He's going to really serve the community wonderfully.
So Bart's is expanding into the Irmo area.
That's correct.
Tell our listeners where to find this tribal Bart's coffee.
Well, it'll be in the old Friars Gate Plaza at 7949 Broad River Road. It's where the Lake Murray axe throwing facility was.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's just right down the road. All right, so you're getting out of the coffee business. What's next? What is next on your agenda? What's on the horizon?
I'm pretty excited for the approval from the Chapin BZA, the zoning board, to allow us to do Mavericks cigars. That's been around 15 months in the making.
Maverick Cigars. So this is like just a cigar vape shop, with like neon lights, and you show up and buy things, or what is this?
Bite your tongue, sir.
Okay, just making sure our listeners understand exactly what is coming to Chapin. This is thrilling. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we want to create an environment again. All of our agencies are built around connecting people in community, and so the opportunity to go into the old barn on Clark Street is an opportunity for people to get together and relax. And the cigar culture is a very accepting and a very friendly environment. In fact, I want to give a shout out to Jay Kilmartin. He came out to the BZA and spoke on our behalf. He owns Cigar Militia and the Melting Pot. He's also a state representative, if I understand that correctly. So
That is correct.
pulling people together, that's the name of the game.
And that's one of the oldest buildings in Chapin.
It is.
And what a neat cigar lounge bar.
And it's a cool building, too.
Yeah.
It's a cool... I'm sure there's going to be a lot of work. It's an older building. But, man, what a great location for that business. I think, you couldn't have probably picked a better area to put that shop in.
Yeah, we're excited about the potential for what this is. And, it hasn't fallen into place immediately, but there's a fine line between making things happen and allowing things to fall into place, and you just have to discern, for those out listening that are business owners, sometimes it can be frustrating when the doors don't open, but when you're bringing your purpose to the world doesn't just open the door for you every time. Sometimes you have to be diligent and persistent and patient.
Yeah, being an entrepreneur, thinking of that is I think of the door opening. Sometimes it's kind of like the toilet. You have to jiggle the handle. Right? Is this door going to open or not?
Right.
So what else? You've got some other businesses as well?
I want to showcase Poorhouse Furnishings. Beth and Kevin Poor are co-church members at Tennessee Coast Church, and Kevin was talking about how much he would really like to reclaim his garage to put his boat in, because Beth had been doing this furniture restoration.
He's a mad fisherman too.
Is he?
And so I made a dad joke about, we'll open us a store, we'll call it Poorhouse, because their last name's Poor, P-O-R-E, and I need to keep my dad jokes to myself, because now we have a furniture store.
That's what you get for telling dad jokes.
That's right. Yeah, those are dangerous. But the Poorhouse has been a great business. We've had almost an antiques roadshow experience inside the store. Case in point, we had a couple that moved from Boston and consigned a dining room table and a china cabinet. And when we posted that online, a couple from Sumter saw it, and they drove up from Sumter to see it because it looked very familiar to them. And it turned out the husband was a supervisor at the Sumter Cabinet Company, and he retired in 1992. And when we turned the china cabinet around, it had a stamp on the back of it when it was manufactured, and it was in December of 1992.
Wow.
So that was the easiest sale we ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and explain to our listeners what this Poorhouse Furnishings is exactly. So is it like new furniture, used, consignment? What does it look like when you walk in?
Yeah, personally, my stance against the epidemic of storage units that are popping up everywhere is that instead of paying for something to be in storage, you could consign it and get some value for it. An example would be, we took in a player piano that has foot pedals and sheet music that plays itself through the bellows, and it went into a storage unit in 1992, and they've been paying storage every month since 1992 when his mother passed away, because it was her piano. And so they came in the store, and another connection is their daughter worked at Tribal, and so that's how we built that relationship, through those connections. But they brought it in and now they're not having to pay a storage bill anymore. But what we initially thought would just be furniture has evolved into all kind of antiques and trinkets and collectibles and memorabilia, and we set the payout for 60%. So we pay out the lion's share of what people bring in when they consign it.
And where is it located?
It's at 7565 St. Andrews Road. It's right next to American Floral. Also, shout out to Scott Jones, who's been a wonderful business partner in that enterprise.
That's awesome. So let's go back to the cigar shop real quick, Gabe. Why Chapin? Why do you want to put a business here in Chapin?
Well, there's nothing to do, honestly. You can go to Zesto's and get an ice cream, chocolate dipped ice cream.
That sounds good, actually.
Yes, it does.
You can go to Publix and get some groceries.
Yes, you can.
You can go to destinations and get something sweet.
Yeah.
But in terms of getting together, we have the Tipsy Toad, and there are other organizations that get together. But from a place to kind of go where everybody knows your name, there isn't a long list of those opportunities. And so for the existing customers of Mavericks, they're able to go to the clubhouse at Timberlake because we have a humidor there, and we just a month ago had an event at Timberlake, and we had over 60 people come out and participate.
That was going to be my next question. Is there a large cigar following here in Chapin? Evidently, yes.
As you manage the air quality in the shop, the following improves.
So what does that look like, managing the air quality in this building? So is it gonna smell like cigars as you walk in the door? What's that? Hopefully
you smell cedar and tobacco. The air quality inside the facility should be cleaner than the air on the outside of the building.
Oh, wow.
Given the HEPA and carbon filters that will be running through the unit. So if you can keep the air clean and manageable, then you create a fun environment for people to get together.
Well, that sounds great. Are you going to be selling cigars there, or is it just a place where we can go and just smoke a cigar?
Yeah, we'll have a pretty broad selection with the humidors that you can pick.
Okay.
We'll also have pipe tobacco. We will not have cigarettes. We will not have cigarillos. We will not have Black & Miles. We will not have Swisher Sweets. We will not have vapes or anything like that. No dip.
Sounds upscale, like an opportunity to go hang out, enjoy time, and build relationships while you enjoy a cigar.
That's it. Yeah, so good introduction for us would be anybody with difficult children, difficult spouse, or difficult boss that needs a smoke and a drink.
That sounds like everyone.
Yes, it does. So, Gabe, you've talked to us a little bit about your business ventures. Let's hear a little bit about you. What do you like to do when you're not working? Doesn't sound like there's much time for that,
right?
But what does Gabe do?
Who is Gabe?
Who is Gabe?
Gabe is who I am when I'm not sleeping. So that would be midnight to 7. I'm a huge fan of sailing. I have a small sailboat at the Columbia Sailing Club. Shout out to all the members there. Daniel, we've had a chance to go out, on a 3-hour tour, and it's always an adventure.
I survived Gilligan. That's me.
I don't think I got this invite. Maybe we need to do that again.
It's fun. It's fun. An experience.
It's a lot like that movie, What About Bob?
I love that movie. Bill Murray?
I'm sailing.
Yeah. I can picture Daniel now doing that on a sailboat.
So I'm a huge fan of going out in the middle and watching the sunset. I also like to play golf when I have the opportunity. We've had a chance to play once or twice. And so I'm not there to impress anybody, but to make you guys feel much better about yourselves when you compare yourselves.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. And background, just knowing you, Gabe, overcoming some amazing obstacles in your life to become an entrepreneur, to lead so many different businesses. Could you tell us about maybe one hardship that you've rose above?
Yeah, myself.
Oh.
And we got to get out of our own way a lot of times. If you look at the story of the hero's journey, you're the same person in a sense when you get to the end and you were in the beginning. Just your belief level and your confidence level changes, and you will never outperform your belief level. And so, listening to people who are encouraging you, avoiding the negative voices, both internal and external, and then just, taking small steps and giving yourself the opportunities to fail forward over the course of time. I failed and failed and failed. I tell people I took my securities exam 17 times. It wasn't one exam, it was a collection of exams, but you'll go around the same mountain until you're ready. The Bible, it says when you're a child, you think like a child, but when you put childish things away, then you will receive your inheritance. And so it's took me a long time. I made $50,000 my first 8 years total, combined, full time.
Combined in 8 years.
Total.
Wow.
And then I had a mentor who helped me with one little piece of advice, that he helped me understand that you don't get value by getting it. You get value by giving it. You know, we live in a free enterprise and a capitalist structure. So if you need money, you can't get money unless you rob a bank. You get money by giving value and filling a need and solving a problem. So in wealth management, you know, I waived the financial planning fee in my early career, and I opened up a lot more doors for myself, and I found people who've been sold products instead of being given solutions. And I grew my income every year for 13 years because of that piece of advice. So whether it's the coffee shop or the parking lots or cigars or furniture, you know, we're dead focused on making sure that we give value up front. For those in B&I, the slogan is givers gain. There's a law of reciprocity. So whatever it is that you put out in the world, you know, it comes back. But the challenge is when your stomach's empty and you're starving, you're not thinking about feeding the next person. You're thinking about yourself. And so that's what kept me in that loop for a long time. And so, you know, getting past limiting beliefs, you know, moving through obstacles are, you know, just part of business.
Wow. Drop the mic. Right?
Yeah. Wow. I feel like we just got taken to church.
Yeah.
Like that was.
Take up the offering.
Wow. That was great. Yeah. I don't even know what to say.
That's really
now.
good.
Wow.
So, looking at the different industries, any other plans for the area?
Let's see. What do we need?
Right.
What
more
do
things
we
to
need?
do.
Yeah. More things to do would be good.
Yeah, that would be good.
Well, I'd like to have a vision for Ellett Brothers to turn into some type of entertainment facility. As the highway project finishes, my life experience would be that more people will migrate to areas where there's more space and potentially less crime. And with that, typically goes tax revenue, which supports new schools, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I'm not big on government, but without order, we devolve into chaos. And so there has to be a balance for the town. And you know, I think Kevin and Nicole are doing a phenomenal job of you know, orchestrating you know, where we're going. But I'm very eager to see the development. If anybody out there has a flair for Italian food, I think we really need more Italian food in the area. I think we have about 27 Mexican restaurants, which are all great.
I love Mexican food.
That's the idea. And also, you know, I'm all for business, but you know, creating an entrepreneurial atmosphere where there's lots of people who are in the W-2 world that have a vision for a 1099 lifestyle. They just don't know how to swim. And so mentorship and you know, leading the way is a part of our overall plan with all of our businesses.
Yeah, that's one thing I've learned about you over the years is that desire to give back, to inspire, to plant seeds. You mentioned mentorship. How would you define mentorship? What would be a good idea of a definition of mentorship?
Mentorship, equal parts mentorship and tormentorship.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right. Explain, please.
Well, so there's a saying that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And when the student is truly ready, the teacher disappears. And so I've been in financial services for 22 years and actively recruiting people. And there's people who want to go to heaven, but not a lot of people willing to die. You know, there's a lot of people who want Tiger Woods' golf swing, but they're not going to hit 1,000 golf balls before breakfast. So there's a difference between wanting to be an entrepreneur, wanting to be coached, and the willingness to do it. And so I think for me, being born in a loving, you know, environment, but not necessarily a fiscally solvent environment, who required me to go out and you know, kind of forge a path for myself. And so if you're a leader, you have influence, but you never have any more influence than you have a relationship with somebody. And so a lot of times people want to lead, but they don't lead with their heart. You know, they lead with their head. And if you want to lead people, you have to be authentic. I found the more authentic you can be, and you don't need to be on a pedestal. You know, I have failed and failed and failed and failed, and so I just tell people that come in behind me, they're walking in the footsteps of greatness.
Right. Failure way to
You are dropping a lot of knowledge.
Isn't this
a lot of good nuggets today. I'm like sitting here whacking my brain like, all right, I need to schedule time, just me and Gabe, to talk
I smelled something burning.
Yeah. I'd say it was my hair, but it's clearly not my hair.
But thinking about that, also understanding, that gave that idea of looking for other entrepreneurs, coming alongside them, helping them. You mentioned you're not a big fan of government. However, isn't there something going on with you in government?
Well, they do say that bad things happen when good people do nothing. There's a big assumption there that I'm a good person, but at the end of the day, if you want something done, you give it to a busy person, and so for that reason, given the opportunities that exist, I'm going to be running for city council in November in Irmo. So,
all right, congratulations! Wow.
I've never had any real interest in politics. In fact, I've always felt like politicians and diapers should be changed frequently for the same reason. At the end of the day, I'm already running for office every day when people buy coffee or furniture or get a parking lot striped or do a financial plan. We're already leading people to improve themselves and their community. And so what makes me qualified, I believe I missed class clown by one vote in high school, and they gave me most school spirit. So I love people, and I love to have a good time. And so that introduction to me into politics is because I've never let not knowing coffee or not knowing securities or not knowing furniture or
whatever. Yeah.
Ignorance is no excuse to success. You have to go out there and learn how to do it.
Wow, that's great. Congratulations, man. We wish you the best in that venture, because that just sounds, because you have all the time in the world, it sounds like, to just add one more thing. So why not run for town council in Irmo?
Well, you heard Jim Gaffigan talk about what it's like to have 4 kids, and he says, imagine you're drowning and someone hands you a baby.
You have to take care of that.
Well, that's the life of an entrepreneur.
It's just an extra sandwich.
It's the life of an entrepreneur. Is there anything you wish people knew about you or your business ventures?
You'll know me if you come to our offices. We provide a welcoming environment. We understand that if you have a problem to solve, and we can help add value. That's the idea. We lead with our heart. We take things slow, and I think it's really fortunate to do business in the South, because it's not fast talking, hard close, and get the check, overcome objections environment. It's 45 minutes to hire your kids and your grandkids, and then we sign some papers. And so I think that's the idea. That, when you're in a high trust environment, there really are no sales.
So how can our listeners now, if they wanted to reach out to you, if they wanted to learn more about your businesses and all these different ventures that you're taking part of, how can they learn more, or how can they get a hold of you?
If you guys would just call Paul Sadler directly,
I will field those calls for you. Right. Absolutely.
Our offices are open 9 to 5. The direct extension for all the businesses is 803-999-4200, and you can get connected to someone. They'll put you in the right direction.
Awesome.
Nice. Relational Wealth is kind of the mothership, you could say, where these other things have launched from. Gabriel, thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to seeing the success for you personally, and also how you've been able to touch lives all throughout the Chapin and the Midlands community.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
This has been the Chapin Neighbors Podcast, where we highlight all that makes our community special. We hope you enjoyed our time together. Please like, subscribe, and share the Chapin Chamber Neighbors Podcast.